Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 16, Epilogue, Guy Crimson, Part 4. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the Tensura Light Novel. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Hold it, I don't want to fight you seriously right now because I like you and I can't bring myself to kill you. However, I shall continue to be a demon lord to prevent the planet from destroying itself. You understand, I made him that pledge. Guy looked favorably upon Rudra, and since Rudra was a friend of Veldanava's, he was also a friend of his own. It was inevitable that he couldn't get serious from the beginning. But the work of the demon lord had to be done, and that was what Veldanava had asked him to do. As a mediator, the scales of the world must not be tilted. Well, do you want to have a different duel? A different kind of duel? Yes, don't let me fight you directly. This time, use the pawns in your hand to fight for world supremacy. To be honest, I didn't want to use the King of Justice either, but I can't say that now. For this is the power that Veldanava has given me in support of my dream of a unified world. So, after that, I'll add more men and I'll get stronger. I guess. That understanding was correct, and Guy nodded. I like you, so I don't want to kill you either. Didn't I tell you? I believe that humans can be united. Veldanava seeks diversity, but does not ask them to hate each other. People with different ideas can just get along on the basis of mutual respect, and if they can't accept each other's opinions, just pull away. The indiscriminate use of force by different races and nations will lead to war, but as long as we can become a unified nation, won't we be able to make a decision through consultation? It's hard to say. As far as I know, humans are aren't they? I know, but I'm on good terms with you, aren't I? If the demon lord and the hero, who are supposed to be natural enemies, can get along, it will be easier for the same race to understand each other. A mediator is not necessary, insisting. Rudra, Guy, however, could not agree. That's a naive idea. So-called humans are creatures with strong desires. It is not evil. Desire is necessary in order to pursue greater possibilities. As long as the interests are relevant, even close people will frankly start fighting each other. In this regard, a magical creature without wisdom knows better, right? Perhaps, and I understand, Veldanava also laughed at me that this could only be ideal. Even so I convinced him, and now he's cheering me on. Although the probability is infinitely close to zero, just do what you want, those are his words. There is a secret that the King of Justice has the power to summon the legions of angels that will destroy everything, and I will use this power skillfully for the relief of mankind, only to destroy military power and civilization, and to suppress the expansion of people's desires, while unifying the world and making sure that an ideal world is created. I don't have a penchant for torture and murder. Just kill the guy who I don't like. Whether they are good or bad has nothing to do with me. I'll let them live if it suits me, and I'll kill them if they don't, that's all. So I told you to stop for a second. I don't have the patience to wait for a guy who endangered the world to realize the error of his ways. Hate the sin, not the sinner. To be guilty is to be punished. It's only reasonable to hold yourself accountable for what you do. That's what I thought, but I want you to give them a chance to change their ways. You can rest assured, I will send the souls of these sinners to the underworld and give them a taste of the pain. That's not what I meant. Rudra stopped narrating and once again spoke cautiously from the heart. I'm not trying to be a great king, I just want to put a smile on everyone's face. Wouldn't crime be reduced as long as one could live comfortably and have a partner to talk to? Eliminating poverty and inequality and creating a world where anyone can live with a smile is what I'm looking forward to. Of course, there will be hopelessly people, but I intend to minimize the sacrifices. No wonder Veldanava is laughing. I didn't expect you to be so naive. But, alright, I'll just hear what this duel is about. Really? It's boring anyway. It must be fun to enjoy the game. Guy hadn't actually agreed with Rudra's viewpoint. He merely wanted to observe how things turned out. He didn't want to reject Rudra's principles. He could never convince his obstinate pal with words alone. Despite being that type of person, Rudra is trying to convince others simply by words. It was, in a sense, a contradiction and it was natural to fail. By then, Rudra would wake up, he supposes. If he succeeds, it's nothing, but it will reduce Guy's work. No matter how it turned out, there was no loss, Guy judged. Nor was there any particular benefit, as long as Rudra could abandon his outrageous plans. Do you think my goals are just a game? Rudra laughed. This was followed by an intimate and meticulous explanation of the rules. The rules are simple. Just the players don't fight, their men will fight. That's all. That is, a showdown between Guy and Rudra is forbidden. Yeah, it will agree not to do anything. I collect demon lords who would replace me and give them the responsibility for the direct punishment of humanity. It's up to me to stop it. I will use my own hands to unify the world before the society that the demon lord is in charge of is born. You're walking the path of misery, aren't you? It's some kind of ideal that even that good old Veldanava gave up. Veldanava was a dreamer and a perfectionist, but he was able to distinguish between ideal and reality and to think dispassionately about whether it could be achieved. Veldanava gave up omniscience and omnipotence in pursuit of change, and as a result, it was no longer possible for him to realize the ideal society he had in mind. But to Veldanava, this is the right solution. A world that all works as he wants. He finds it not interesting at all. It was because of understanding Veldanava's mood that Rudra exclaimed. But even so, I wanted to reassure him that not only was he bound by life expectancy, but he was even left with a fighting power that was not even close to that of an ordinary human. Still, the guy was happy to be walking to the end with Lucia, but I was worried about where the world was going. More than anything else, I am worried about the future of the children. Therefore, I must provide him with comfort and build a world where everyone can live happily so that he won't have to worry about anything when he passes away. And I want him to be happy knowing that the magnificent, peaceful world he built has evolved. Rudra had sworn to Veldanava to establish a united nation. With the desire to make the sister happy, he was determined to get rid of all the misfortune in the world. Let us, the parties, decide the affairs of this world with our own hands, and you, who are not bound by life, witness the final end as the judge. To Rudra's words, Guy didn't come out with an answer. In Guy's mind, it had been determined that it could not be done, but because of the understanding Rudra's mood, hesitated whether or not the words of denial should be spoken. What the hell? Doesn't that make you the one who has to carry everything? But it was at this time that the emotions were so sharp that Guy hated his own mind. Guy, though prideful, was gentle with those he liked, and this tenderness instead became a bondage that even made it impossible for him to stop the reckless Rudra. To this dear and foolish friend, Guy lost his words. Your challenge, surely, will fail. Guy's mind calmly calculated the result. With a success rate so low that it can't even be expressed in terms of probability, Rudra, who is regarded as Guy's best friend, will never give up. A hero is one who has an unyielding heart. Rudra is undoubtedly a true hero, who shoulders all the hardships and carries the goal of achieving the ideal world. Because of this, perhaps if it were this man, Guy thought so. It was Rudra who made Guy think like that, and Guy bet on that tiny possibility. However, as a result, several tragedies have occurred during the constant and repeated duel between Guy and Rudra. The initial misfortune occurred immediately after the birth of Veldanava and Lucia's child. Taking advantage of Rudra expedition, there was a terrorist attack in the Nazca kingdom, the work of a warring enemy, which resulted in the death of both Lucia and Veldanava. At that moment, Rudra's dream collapsed with a bang. I just want to reassure Veldanava, to make him agree with us. Rudra killed his heart, saying that he can no longer cry. All that remains is an ideal that has lost its purpose. Do you still want to go with this? Yes. I just have this game with you left. I have nothing left but your acceptance. Okay, that's okay. I'll continue to play with you. The game goes on. The next misfortune happened to Milim, the child of Veldanava. Milim was raised without knowing what her parents looked like. Didn't even know there was a blood relationship between herself and Rudra. Her pet, Milim's lone family member and protector, was murdered in a government conspiracy. Milim lamented her grief and burst into rage, and to calm down Milim, Guy went into full action. If Milim was not stopped, several countries would have perished. Even so, do you want to continue? If only I had struck sooner, Milim wouldn't have been sad, would she? It is my responsibility, and even so, if we stops here, all the previous sacrifices will be meaningless. As emperor, it is my duty not to stop halfway. I don't think that's necessary. Well, I'll be with you until you satisfied. If he stops here, Rudra believes he's going to break. Guy also had to delay his conclusion. An unfortunate future awaited him, and as much as Guy thought so in his heart, he hadn't fully decided it was going to be that way. Just like that, the game goes on. The constant repetition of suffering. The ugliness of the world at hand. Each reincarnation depleted the holy power, and Rudra gradually lost his hero status. Rudra's ability to remain a saint is probably the result of his dedication to his ideals. Even so, the limits come down. Unknown to him, Rudra's heart has also eroded, losing his original ideals. Not knowing if it was the fate of the man who lost his purpose, Rudra began to become unscrupulous in order to win over Guy. Cold and cruel, the win over Guy became everything, and as a result, caused even more bloodshed. These, all of them, were the same as Guy's judgment. Finally, the day has come. Guy followed the rules and bet on the last possibility. To the most unknown of his own pawns, and the most promising of all existences, Rimuru, he pins the final judgment. In all honesty, he had wanted to move himself, but until the end, Guy followed the rules. As a result, in the distance, his friend's breath stopped. Guy couldn't help but sigh as he said, "I'm sure it wasn't just Rimuru who may have done it. There is no bitterness, no remorse. Just simply the mourning of a dear friend. That's why I told you. Like this, it's only right for us as demons, for us who have never been emotionally shaken." Guy whispered, not noticing the thing running down his cheek. He just quietly prayed for Rudra's soul. And with that, Guy and Rudra's game, which had been going on for thousands of years, was over. Guy kept up his usual brave smile, but his heart was breaking inside. The eyes of a deep sea blue diamond color stared coldly at Guy. A small, twisted appeared on the edge of her mouth. Even when the game is over, the fires of strife remain entangled. Thus, the smoke of the world-scale war, the battle of the demons, Tenma, was ignited.